Hey everybody, this is Natalie from Light of Ascension Tarot, and I'm super excited for this reading today. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I just had to get around to getting it together. But the reading is called Expressing the Dark Feminine. What dark goddess acknowledges you now? So I was prompted to do a reading on this because I listened to a very powerful metaphysical conversation talking about the other day through a class that I was taking, talking about how, you know, the prime creator, the original, is a feminine energy, and it's an energy of chaos, like the Ouroboros continually eating its tail, and how, you know, this divine primordial creator energy is actually feminine. Everything that the universe springs from is feminine, okay, in nature, and in the nature of that kind of mother goddess. And it can be frightening at times. The dark goddess can be frightening and can put us all in our place at times. And of course, when you're working with, like, you know, you're working with Kali, Hecate, Lilith, the Morgan, Circe, all the different goddesses that have been associated with some of the darker primordial creative type creation and destruction energies. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at what dark goddess acknowledges you now in your life. Okay, and I have 4 dark goddesses to choose from, and I'm going to randomly shuffle them to each pile. Okay, so the first one is, and this is not in the order that they're going to be presented here, but the first one is Circe, and I know some people pronounce it Kirky, right? But I'm going to use Circe. I'm going to use the name Circe because that's what I'm used to saying, okay? But some people it's Greek, and some people say Kirky, or would have said that back in the day. We have the Morgan, okay, and we have Nyx, Nyx, the goddess of the night, and we have Lilith, okay? Of course, we couldn't have a discussion of the dark goddess without our girl Lilith, okay? So we are going to go ahead, and we have 4 different piles to choose from today. Before I shuffle these out, we are going to talk about the piles. So we have pile number 1, which is the white tea light, pile number 2, which is the red tea light, pile number 3, the purple tea light, and pile number 4, the black tea light. Okay, so whatever color you're feeling drawn towards today, whatever you want to bring in, and we're going to take a look at what dark goddess and what dark feminine energy is acknowledging you now, and acknowledging you as in, like, you've come so far. Look at where you've come in your life, look at all the energies that you've been working with, look at, and I feel the dark goddess, for those of you that pick a pile and get one today, she's showing a sign of respect to you as well here too. When someone acknowledges you, it's a sign of respect as well, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. Spirits, angels, and guides, please help me shuffle out the dark goddesses here in a way that pleases you, that will be most effective for the people that are going to be watching this. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna deal it out here. I love the energy. I used orange because we have Halloween coming up, and yeah, it's just fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna get into the reading for you guys. And I have a little bit of information on each goddess as well. When you choose your pile, we're gonna talk about how that relates to you and what's happening in your life, and how this dark goddess is working with you and acknowledging you. Okay, so I'm excited for this reading. I've been wanting to do it forever. And I shuffled all your guys' oracle cards out, was meditating on the 4 goddesses that I chose and asking them to reveal their knowledge and wisdom to us, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. We're gonna start with pile number 1. And we're just gonna invite the dark goddess in. Circe, Lilith, Morgan, the goddess Nyx, Okay, I feel like we have to bring Hecate too, like she's got to be here as well. All right, so thank you so much, Dark Goddesses. And let's go ahead and get into the reading. Okay, pile number 1, you chose the white tea light, and today's reading is called Expressing the Dark Feminine. What dark goddess acknowledges you now, is respecting you, is looking at you, is nodding in your direction and smiling. And we have 4 different dark goddesses that that I dealt out at the beginning of the reading to each pile. So you're going to get your particular one for your pile. And first we're going to look at how that goddess is working with you and what messages she has for you. So let's go ahead and do it. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to the wonderful, beautiful energy of my pile number 1s, please, and thank you. And the dark goddess. Let's do it. Pile number 1. Your dark goddess that is acknowledging you right now is Nyx, the goddess of the night. And for those of you that aren't super familiar with Nyx, it's NYX, and we call her the goddess of the night, or the mother of all. And she was as a goddess, she was the only goddess that sent Zeus away with his tail between his legs. So Nyx was the only goddess that he really feared. And, Zeus thought he was, he basically killed his own father and said, I'm my own father, right? So Zeus, or Jupiter, had quite the ego, but when it came to Nyx, he absolutely yielded to her. Because the thing about Nyx is that primordial creative, she's a primordial creative goddess. And many people think, like, back in the day, she didn't really have any temples of her own, but she was always in the backdrop of, like, the temples that were worshiping, like Artemis or Hecate or goddesses like that, because Nyx is the eternal blackness and the eternal darkness, right? And there's a lot of myths. For example, like in Hinduism, they say if Shiva was to open his eye, the entire world would be destroyed, okay? And Nyx is that type of goddess, and that's why Zeus did not want to mess with her, because, one sweep of her beautiful tendril-like arm, or one sweep of her eyes across the universe, and everything would be destroyed, all right? And it's that feminine principle of destruction. Nyx had quite a few children of her own, and one of the children that she gave birth to was Hypnos, or sleep. And I also think, for those of you that are resonating with this goddess, hypnosis and sleep, when I see the word, and I think, hypnos is the root of hypnosis, the word, or sleep, right? But it really brought out, like, that sense of hypnosis. So some of you may be skilled in that, or some of you may have, past lives being skilled in that, and also working with sleep and dreams as well. And those of you that have associations with Hecate or Artemis, also too, I just want to invite you into this energy, because, like I said, Nyx was kind of the backdrop for which these other goddesses were operating, okay? When I think of Nyx, I think of, like, the firstborn, the mother of all. She had many children of her own, and she was very comforting and loving towards her own children, but she was also feared, particularly by the male gods, okay? And I also have a little bit more information here on Nyx and so I'm just going to read this. Nyx was the Greek goddess of the night and the daughter of chaos. And in all depictions of her, she's very beautiful, and you can see her like she's a charioteer in some, and then in some descriptions, she's like a dark mist that comes through. And we say about Nyx, like, her birthplace is not on the earth, but within the earth. And she is a primordial god, which means, she's been around since the beginning of time. Okay, and they say that Nyx has her home in the depths of Hades or Tartarus, and and you see her with wings, or a charioteer, or in the dark mist, and she's been known to bring sleep or death onto the human race, or onto people that she doesn't have her favor. Okay, Zeus feared Nyx, as I said, because she was older and stronger than him, and she's the only goddess he ever feared. A stone associated with Nyx is moonstone. And like I said, Nyx lived in Hades or Tartarus, and she lived in an environment of torment, suffering, and darkness. You know, but I think there's a message here for you, pile number one, about going through hell but doing no harm, right? Because, you know, Nyx, when we think of Nyx, she's actually maybe seen as more of a villain than she actually is, right? And even though Nyx, as this goddess, lives in Tartarus, which represents torment, suffering, and darkness, she basically did no harm, and the world exists by the grace of her, okay? And when we think of Nyx, we think of like the moon and the stars, and the source, and she can be a source of love and comfort and rest for those that have her favor. And a lot of people say that she was in a chariot of black pulled by a team of black horses or black bulls. All right. And yeah, feared and respected, but calm and kind, right? So this is about the goddess Nyx. And for a lot of you here, I feel some of you may identify with starseed energy because, you know, not really being born on this earth and being in the earth and being here and present with it, but not being born on the earth. And also Nyx being associated with the moon and the stars, okay? So some of you guys may identify with that energy of starseeds, and some of you guys may also identify with that mothering energy as well, even if you don't have children of your own. And I also think hypnosis is something that you could be very powerful with and helpful with as far as helping others, okay? So pile number one, let's get into it deeper and see with your oracle messages how Nyx as a power goddess is working through you right now. We have hearth and homecoming. Yeah, so something about, you know, the tender fires of the home and enjoying that beautiful space of your home, the fires at home, tending to the homestead, home and hearth, right? And Nyx did have a lot of children, but she was a very, like I said, a very comforting and welcoming goddess for those that had her favor and those that respected her. And yeah, so something of a homecoming for you right now, pile number one. We have stretch. Ooh, yeah, like Nyx stretches across the entire night sky covered in blackness, right? Stretching and growing, but yet feeling at home inside yourself, right? Feeling comfortable with who you are, allowing you to stretch yourself out even more and grow even more. Here's an Isis card for everybody here, and I'd like to read this message to you about soul retrieval. Isis, healing goddess, now offers you spiritual restoration and deep soul healing through the art of soul retrieval, reclaiming pieces of you lost through trauma, old and new. Soon you will enjoy greater wellness, energy, and power. So be willing to go through the healing process, knowing that any emotional clearing taking place is leading you to wholeness. Okay, so talking about soul retrieval and those that, you know, and I feel some of you guys may be doing this soul retrieval while you sleep at night and reclaiming parts of yourself that you lost. And I see the autumn leaves here, and I feel like this is something that is going to be of comfort to you as well. All right, and let's see what else we have here. Ooh, moonstone. Oh my God, you guys, I said Nyx was associated with moonstone and sacred, this very sacred energy. All right, that's so beautiful. Helping with emotional clearing. Of course, the moonstone is it's a very gentle stone. I remember one time I was wearing moonstone on I had a moonstone ring, but it like fell off my hand randomly and I lost it because I wasn't really in a place of gentleness at that time in my life, you know? And there is something about the gentle goddess of the night, right? But you know, when you look at her and you look at Nyx, this beautiful goddess that allows us to exist and live on this planet, you know, like they say, you close that eye and the entire world is destroyed, right? So it is very sweet and loving energy, but at the same time, you know, it's to be feared, and that's why it's sacred, right? So a lot of sacred healing work going on for you. We have the Crow and Destiny. All right, so something about you coming home to yourself and feeling at home so that you can stretch and reclaim. I feel like for some of you guys, reclaiming talents that you didn't know that you had, reclaiming talents and gifts that have to do with your destiny. All right, and for some of you in this pile, crows, you may feel a strong connection to crows, or when you see crows, you're like, yep, that's the stuff right there. And for your crystal, we have appetite and nutrition. The color of appetite combines blue for wisdom and green for health and healing. It reminds you to connect with nature for your nutritional needs, whether by growing your own produce, buying organic, or eating a plant-based diet. Appetite with its calcium and fluoride content may be beneficial for gums and teeth. All right, and it says here, my body is a temple. I have the insight to make wise choices with my eating habits. I choose food that nourishes my body and soul. Yeah, coming home to yourself, part of your destiny. Maybe some of you here to help others with their nutrition and their goals, but there is something about, and the moon too, of course, you know, with how we nurture ourselves, like with food and what we eat, and feeling better physically, I feel like, is part of this process for you. Not numbing yourself with food and eating lightly, I feel right now, pile number one, because you are very hearty. You know, there's a sense of heartiness about you, and I like that. When something's very hearty, it's got, you know, the ability to withstand a lot, right? We have Mahavatar Babaji, Soul Expansion. That's coming out under Soul Retrieval. So look at the stars in the background, the stars and the dark night. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things. Yeah, and that's the thing with the Mother Goddess. I'm getting chills right now with the Mother Goddess Nyx, is like we exist, like I said, by her grace, and she brings everything together, that primordial mother type energy that allows us to see like I'm everything and everything is me kind of energy. Very beautiful, very soul expansion. Ooh, we have Virgo. Yeah, so some of you guys here needing to be quite gentle with your stomachs right now, and be needing to really pay attention to what you put into your body. Sometimes Virgo can kind of have like a gluten intolerance, or even if you're not gluten intolerant, just something about overdoing it on the wheat or overdoing it on the carbohydrates or the wheat is a bit much. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not trying to give anybody medical advice here, but you know, something about understanding. I feel like some of you are going to get like a report, or maybe you see a naturopath and they give you a printout and say, you know, and it's very useful information, okay? I feel like you guys, and look at the big moon right behind her on this card. Yeah, there it is. And with Virgo, I also think about, you know, of course, Artemis or Goddess Diana, which is very supported by Nyx, very much. And a lot of the Artemis temples, as I said, had Nyx in the background of it. So it's that beautiful, you know, Selene, the moon energy, right? Talking about the way we nurture and nourish ourselves, and how our systems can be very sensitive, and how sometimes having more information about how we function actually helps us with our mission and our destiny, okay? And let's see what else we have here. We have Yesod as the Sephirah here, and Yesod is associated with the moon. And so again, there's more moon energy here, talking about your destiny to feel at home and safe in your body. And yeah, that's beautiful. More moon energy, a lot of moon energy. Oh, we have rainbow energy and transition. Okay, so some of you guys, I feel like you have some stretch goals, because I like this stretch energy here, and I feel like you have some stretch goals for yourself as far as I'm here and I'd like to get to here, right? And it's very achievable, I feel, pile number one. And Nyx is helping you with this energy. It's very comforting, very homecoming, comforting energy, giving you the sense that, yes, I can do this. I can make this transition. You know, and we have card 35 here. So some of you may be kind of like, yeah, I'm getting a little bit older, or I'm dreaming for more than what I, you know, because Yesod is the moon, talking about dreams and the subconscious. I'm dreaming of a transition and an expansion for myself, and I really feel that this is possible. Yeah, and I do hear for you too. And we have destiny. Oh my God, you guys have destiny twice. So maybe for some of you, your destiny is to help other people. Maybe some of you work out of your home, or you need a space in your home where you can really work and do, you know, kind of witchy things, or a space in your home that you dedicate to, this is where I'm going to do healing work. This is where I'm going to, maybe some of you too, needing to designate your kitchen, like needing to bless your kitchen, and yeah, with all about this nourishing energy, destiny. All that I shall need to know as I walk shall now be shown. Oh, and look at her sleeping right up against the moon there as you sleep. All that I shall need to know as I walk shall now be shown. All right, and it's interesting, like as I walk. So some of you guys may be, you know, going on walks, looking at, you know, it's autumn in the Northern Hemisphere, looking at the trees, changing colors, and finding out, getting some information when you're walking or when you're sleeping. So for those of you that like to take walks and you have some good revelations, right? And I talked about getting some kind of a report or getting some type of feedback where you come to understand something about your sleep cycles, about your nutrition, about your body, and it makes you feel a lot more at peace, okay? I think it makes you feel way more at peace than you felt before. And I love how this crow is like carrying the earth in its talons. To me, that represents Nyx, right? It's like the dark goddess carrying the earth. And if she were to drop the earth, you know, that would be the end for all of us, right? And Nyx talking to you now about your destiny. Pile number one, talking powerfully with you about your dreams, and some of you making a big transition. If you're making a career transition, or you're trying something new that you haven't done before, and you're kind of putting a bunch of different things together and seeing how it's going to work out. Yeah, and Virgo does that. Virgo takes a bunch of things and synthesizes it down to something very usable and practical, okay? So if you're learning some new things right now and you're like, how will this fit into my life practically? Or, you know, it is happening for you. There is a transition and you are learning, and your destiny is arriving, pile number one. I feel some of you guys are getting more information about what your destiny actually is. And as I said that, 4 birds just literally flew right into the site of my window, which I can see as I'm doing this reading. I have a window facing out, and literally 4 birds just flew in as I said that. But yeah, talking about the crow and birds and your destiny, and understanding more about your destiny and why you're here, and why nutrition and health is so important for you. And I know for those of us that have experienced trauma, sometimes we don't treat ourselves very good when it comes to food, or we form emotional reactions to food, or we take comfort in it, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because Nyx is that goddess of comfort and rest, and that listening, resting kind of energy. But I also feel like listening to your body, getting more information about what feels good for you to eat. I actually made something yesterday. I'm like, why didn't I think to put this together? This is so good and it was so healthy, and I ate it and I felt good for the rest of the day, right? It's almost like how food can increase your mental health. That's a wonderful thing. All right, increase or decrease, right? Depending on what you're doing. But we have the Four of Wands here. So I love how they're looking at one another and just reminding us that we don't do things alone, you know, that we're not alone and we don't do things alone. And that when we're going through big transitions and soul expansions, I feel some of you have a partner or a friend or somebody who is there for you, encouraging you. And I feel you're the one taking the lead though, right? And you can see the feminine energy is out front here and the masculine energy is a little bit farther back, but not too far back, just right behind you. And yeah, so taking your lead in this situation or in what you're doing right now, pile number one. I don't even feel like it's a situation. It's just more natural. It's like, it's a natural transition. It's like, yeah, I'm going to choose to kind of live my life this way now, and it feels so much better. All right. And somebody is listening to you here. Somebody is paying attention to you and listening to you, but you're taking the lead. Oh, here's the Queen of Wands. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely, and I see, even if you are in a group of other women, pile number one, that you're showing up in a very powerful way, or if you're just in any group of people, doesn't have to be women. I also see an elephant here in the background carved out in the stone. Maybe some of you have an elephant as a totem, or you have, and I feel the mountains. I'm kind of feeling that Sedona energy right now in the background of this Queen of Wands. But you know what? It's interesting with Nyx, because although she didn't really have many temples of her own, you know, she was the backdrop, like I said, for all the other goddesses. So you can see all the other goddesses behind her, and then you can see Nyx kind of out front with the moon resting on her wrists here, okay? And it's like, because of what you do, and because of how you lead, and because of your connection with Source, pile number one, you are helping other goddesses, other men or women in your life, associated with this divine feminine energy. You are helping them as well, and they are following your lead. And it's gentle though. It's very gentle. And there is something here about the sacral chakra and this energetic loop that I feel that you're receiving now from the goddess, okay? I'm also getting kind of like Phoenix energy rising up behind you. And I see you guys really, other people following your lead, other people watching what you are doing, but also supporting you and having many talents of their own too, which is wonderful. That's how you create this community, this very strong and vibrant community, right? But you're really out in front, and I do see two panthers next to this beautiful Queen of Wands too. All right, so these two panthers, and I see that it looks like the flag for the United Kingdom or the UK right underneath her dress here. So maybe some of you guys have a connection to the UK, or your family lineage is from there, or you are from the UK. But I do think it's like you guys standing out front here and protecting. Also, I feel protecting the people in your life that you love as well. And maybe some of them don't even know it at times, pile number one. Maybe they're a little bit oblivious to it, like they're just going about their day, but you are protecting the people that you love for sure, okay? You are for sure. And that is going to bring favor with Nyx, like times 1,000, all right? And ooh, damn, pile number one. Nice, nice, nice. We have the Queen of Wands, and we have the Master of Flames, or the King of Wands. For some of you, this is also too about a partnership, I feel, as well. This is also about the King and Queen of Wands. But yeah, but I also feel like the King of Wands is Zeus, is Jupiter. And You know, Jupiter, Zeus, as I said, stands, because it represents Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. So Zeus is standing here, you know, looking on, watching you, and watching this energy rise up in you, all right? And there's, if you've had conflicts before with especially the masculine, thinking that they know better than you, or thinking that at work or just in your life in general, and I'm gonna say here, pile number one, that you've got a lot of people supporting you, and you're directly connected into that divine feminine solar or sacral chakra energy, okay? And you know, you can be equals. It's okay to be equals, but I also think that, you know, Nyx is the one that actually is running the show here. Okay, so it's okay to recognize an equal, is what I'm saying, but I also think Nyx is running the show. All right, so let's get a couple of cards out here. Let's get 3 cards out and see what messages does Nyx have for my beautiful pile number ones. Follow the leader, right? You're the leader, pile number one. Follow the leader, okay? Let's go ahead and see. It's your destiny. It's your destiny to have, for some of you, maybe a very public following, or helping others tap into their divine feminine energy. And I do feel the divine masculine is recognizing you in this, pile number one, and is saying, yeah, shit, you are powerful. Yeah, like, you do know what you're talking about. Yeah, you know, and again, you know, Zeus was feared, Nyx. So let's see what else. And definitely respected her as well. Let's see what else. Let's see, what is Nyx? What message does Nyx have for my pile number ones, please? The High Priestess. Oh my God. Pile number one. Do you lead a coven, or do you aspire to, or are you, I mean, talk about the blackest black of the night. Talk about, this is Nyx. She's like, I am with you. I am here with you. I'm helping you learn. I'm helping you grow. I'm helping you balance the light and dark within you. And, yeah, and powerful connection to this Greek goddess of the night. And for some of you, if you are doing ritual, I just got chills. I definitely think adding Nyx into your rituals as a backdrop, or maybe even saying an incantation or a prayer to her, would be especially powerful, okay? So yeah, let's see what else. What other message? The Queen of Swords. Ooh, 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 ooh. So anything in your life right now, every learning, all the information that you're receiving, that you're getting, all the downloads that you're getting, these are coming from, sometimes you're like, where is that coming from? How did I come up with that? Or I'm not sure where I got that information. And I feel like kind of like a whisper, or like a breeze on the back of my neck or something, you know? It's like that whisper, or that like breeze sometimes that I'm like touching my neck right now, that goosebump feeling. I feel like that's Nyx with you, okay? She's like the dark mist, all right? That is the primordial goddess that is with you, all right? Your intuition informs you and helps you make decisions, and she's right there with you. We have the Ace of Pentacles, okay? So yeah, there is probably a new venture opportunity, or something that you're learning about, something new. I mentioned new talents, or something that you guys are learning about that you can do, all right? And I also feel like some of you are saying yes to something. You're saying yes to something, all right, within yourself and in general. You're like, yes, I'm gonna take this on. I'm taking this Ace of Pentacles as a yes. So if some of you were like, I had a question, or I've been having a question lately, I feel like, you know, and you've been in your head and you've been real analytical about it, it's simpler than you think it is, I feel, pile number one. And the answer is yes, okay? So that is what I'm going to leave you with, pile number one. I hope that you I hope that you enjoyed your reading. What a powerful reading. And God, you guys are lucky you got Nyx, because she's literally, you know, the primordial mother of all. So very lucky for you today, pile number 1. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Let's go ahead and move into pile number 2. Pile number 2, please, and thank you. Okay. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the red tea light, and today's reading is called Expressing the Dark Feminine. What dark goddess acknowledges you now? And we have 4 goddesses to choose from. We have Nyx, we have Circe, we have, I always want to say Hecate, but I feel like she's right here with us. We have the Morgan, and we have Lilith. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it and see what dark goddess you got and how she is acknowledging you, respecting you, and also supporting you right now. Because I feel like when something acknowledges us, it's because they're nodding their head at us like, go ahead, you know what you're doing here, okay? So let's do it. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to the beautiful energy of pile number 2 and their goddess as we see it here and now. So let's do it, pile number 2. Let's see, who did you get? Ooh, nice, 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 nice. You guys got Lilith. And of course, with the red tea light, that totally makes complete sense, actually. And Lilith, I found an article online because I was doing a little bit of research, right? And Lilith was the lady flying in the darkness. Some people called her that. And Lilith, the name Lilith actually means the night. And of course, Lilith was demonized for being very independent. She was the original first woman, and she was like a consort of Adam, but she would not lay underneath Adam. She refused to. And and then Eve came about. So Lilith having to do with rebellion, expression, sexuality, independence, and also challenging oppressive systems, especially when it comes to women and sexuality, okay? And Lilith represents total sexual freedom. And she was, and just freedom in general, not just sexual freedom, but sexual freedom as well. And she, you know, there were some angels that tried to convince her to do something, and she still refused, right? So there was a story I was reading about unsuccessful angels. Have you guys ever seen The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? You should, if you haven't, just look up the woman who plays Lilith. And I absolutely loved her character on that show. I don't know what that actress's name was, but man, she had that Lilith energy down. And let's go ahead and talk about, so I have a little bit of information to share with you. And Lilith actually appears in the Bible. She's all over like Jewish folklore, and she's been in the Bible, and you know, she has been demonized, but the whole story is, you know, she was created before Eve. And also people say about her that she's a thief of newborn babies or infants, which to me, I was thinking about that. And it's like, to me, that's kind of questioning the role of like, you know, like women are always like nurturing, or women are always mothers, right? And the reason why Lilith actually, she said to like steal babies and do all of that is because she had a couple babies in a cave, and these angels punished her by killing her children. And so she was, you know, kind of like, I'm vengeful about that, of course. Very vengeful. So Lilith also too, if you cross her, not a person that you want to cross. Maybe some of you, if you look at your astrology charts, you have a prominent Lilith in your chart, or black moon Lilith. All right, so maybe take a look at that. And the whole thing about Lilith is, what she's saying to us collectively is, I'm not a good girl. And what's the point of, you know, and being good anyway? A lot of people just associate being good with following what anyone else tells you, right? But you're not in the mood to do that. And maybe some of you guys have had experiences with religion, patriarchal cultures, you know, religion can be very oppressive towards women. There's, you know, there's the whole Madonna whore complex that men have, where it's, and some women have the complex too, where you're either a mother or you're a whore, right? And it's just complete BS, right? But Lilith's saying, I'm not a good girl. And there's some, you know, depictions of her with her hands bound because people were trying to contain her magic, all right? She's defying the patriarchy and what a woman's role is in that. And have people tried to bind your magic, pile number 2, because you're not having that anymore. And Lilith, the reason that she is so great is because of her awareness. She's actually aware that she's being enslaved, right? Whether that's to a job, to a family, to her own like sense of, I need to bow down to this, right? She's aware of, and that's how she gets free, is she becomes aware that she was enslaved, okay? And in that, there was revenge that was sought. And Lilith can represent an independent woman who challenges oppressive systems. And Lilith can also have to do with exclusion and feeling excluded, right? Because Lilith was like cast out away, like a woman cast out. And as far as like Lilith also having to do with survival, right? Because back in the day, if you were excluded from the tribe, it meant that you weren't going to survive. So that's why people have this whole thing about being excluded. But maybe for you, pile number 2, you were like, hey, I don't mind. Like maybe when you were younger, it was a thing for you and you tried to go along with things. But as you've gotten older, you're like, I don't care if I'm excluded. I am who I am and I'm not putting up with that, which that's beautiful. That's so fiery, pile number 2. I love that. And yeah, and people would call Lilith the night monster because she would come at night, right? And try to like take people's children and things like that. But Lilith has this history of being very misunderstood, right? And being born into a system of oppression and fighting against that. So Lilith, the dark goddess Lilith, is acknowledging you now, pile number 2, and is tipping her hat to you. So let's go ahead and see, how does this relate to my pile number 2s? Ooh, we have Samhain, we have Halloween or Samhain, and death. Okay, and you can see she's kind of hiding in the darkness there. She's quite powerful and she has a lot of, you know, kind of death and decaying energy around her, very powerful energy, but she's in the shadows, right? So feeling excluded or feeling in the shadows, but at the same time being very powerful, pile number 2. We have specialization. Ooh, I love that. So some of you guys here, and we see the butterflies, and we see these butterflies being released from the tips of her fingers, right? And you see this fire that's burning in her heart. And some of you guys that are specializing, all right? And her eyes don't look like she's one to be messed with. Do you guys have that kind of Lilith stare, almost like a Medusa stare? Like if somebody, I used to have that kind of a look when I was younger, you know, I think I had that very like hard stare kind of a look about me. And maybe some of you resonate with the energy of Scorpio or that scorpionic energy, or kind of doing things in the shadow. But what's going on is you're getting very specialized with whatever it is that you've been working on, and only you can kind of do it, right? There's only one Lilith. Like Lilith is, you know, she really learns how to define herself as a goddess and define who she is, even in an oppressive system, okay? So calling out to like all my goths out there, all my people that grew up in homes where they feel like maybe they had to hide what they were doing or they couldn't fully be themselves. You guys are really specializing in something here. And let's read your Isis card. Miracle of Isis. Isis offers a miracle healing. No matter how much you've struggled with a particular matter, no matter how impossible it may seem to imagine your life without this old wound, addiction, problem, relationship issue, or inner struggle being a part of it, you are guided now to accept the possibility of miraculous healing. Let go and let the goddess be, okay? So the miracles that are coming your way. Intense, pile number 2. Very cool. We have the mirror and clarity. Yeah, you can really see. And, you know, here this mirror is a piece of labradorite, which reminds me of scrying, you know, scrying as a magical art, and seeing things that other people don't necessarily see. And I think you see things very clearly now. In the past, maybe you didn't see as clearly, but you do now. And I mentioned something about Lilith. Her to me, one of her biggest powers is her awareness, right? Her understanding of what environment she lives in and who she is in it, right? And that's that clarity, all right? Seeing things clearly. We have the waxing moon and growth. Okay, so some of you who are intuitives, or you're witches, or there is, you know, the scorpionic energy. It's almost like that death doula kind of energy. For those of you that work with others, for those of you that are counselors or therapists, or in any, like, you're specializing in something, you're seeing clearly who you are, and you're experiencing a lot of growth right now with this waxing moon, and it is increasing and growing right now for you. Ooh, we have ruby zoistite, follow your bliss. Ruby is the crystal for passion, and zoistite green is for the heart chakra. Combined, this crystal reminds you to follow the passion of your heart. By following your bliss, you will always have the inspiration to drive to fulfill your destiny. The universe will send the appropriate experiences and opportunities your way. As I follow my bliss, all doors open for me. Wonderful opportunities come my way. And that's on growth, pile number 2. Okay, that's on growth. Let's see what else. We have Krishna and devotion. Okay, trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. Oh, Lilith. Oh my God, I got chills. Lilith is recognizing your commitment, and those eyes don't lie, do they? You guys have some very beautiful, deep eyes. Maybe you have Scorpio rising, or you just have those beautiful, very deep, you know, there's almost like a hunger, I feel like, within you, but it's this energy of devotion, the third eye, like this, the special information, the peacock connecting the third eye here. Very interesting. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. Okay. Follow your bliss, passion, and the heart. We have Hokmah, Sephiroth, and Hokmah has to do with wisdom. Okay. And there is something like when Lilith, the moment that she recognizes, I am in this system and I don't agree with it. The moment that she decides, I'm not going to lay down for Adam, I'm not going to lay down for this or that, I'm going to grow my passions, regardless of what other people think. I'm going to specialize in something that, you know, no matter how much I've struggled, I'm going to devote myself to following what I want in my life. And this is wisdom. This is growth. Hokmah has to do with wisdom. And it has to do, it's Jupiter as well. So it's expanding your vision of yourself and what you can do in your life. I think pile number 2, very independent as well, very wise and independent and clear. We have Saturn. Okay, maybe some of you guys have Saturn and Moon connections in your astrology chart. Or you have heavy Saturn energy in your chart, and talk about being wise beyond your years, you know, and some of you just having, so maybe some of you are having a Saturn transit right now, or Saturn return, and it's creating a lot of, or maybe some of you are preparing for your Saturn return, or you're in that energy, but you know, there's no need to hold back. Okay. There's no need to hold back. And your wisdom, a lot of times I think people make people Lilith feel like she's not very wise, or that she's just like totally mad, or she doesn't know what she's doing, or that she's expressing the, you know, the part of the feminine that's immature. But that is not true, pile number 2. You are not expressing immaturity. You are expressing a deep death, okay? A deep death. I don't know where that came from, but a deep death and a longing for something more, and it is creating this maturity in you, okay? Even if you are older, there is always deeper maturity, deeper gravitas, I feel like. It's 11:11 right now on my clock. If you don't believe me, there it is. See it? 11:11, pile number 2. And yeah, there's deep maturity in what you do. And maybe some people were like, oh, what you're doing, following your bliss, like it's not practical, or you can't do it, or what are you doing, right? I don't think so. Those people, no way. You are incredibly devoted, and Saturn talks about that devotion that we need to follow things through. We have the rabbit and challenge, okay? This talks about, it's like these two rabbits. It's like, you don't want to dance with me. Do you want to dance with me? I don't know if you want to dance with me, okay? Pile number 2. And you have that side to you. You have that contrarian nature to you. And good for you, because in a challenge, you don't back down. And if somebody questions what you're doing, even if it's challenging and hard for you, you know, you're not going to back down. As Tom Petty would say, I'll stand my ground and I won't back down. All right. And yeah, and this just talking about the excitement, I think sometimes that you feel from a challenge, you know, and that's good. You know, we need that sometimes in our lives to get us motivated and get us up and moving. Ooh, confidence. Ooh, embody it. Pile number 2, embody it. By earth and air, water and fire, let my confidence take light, burn higher. Okay, confidence, right? Coming out of the shadows, specializing in something, no matter how much you've struggled, you know, miraculous healing and devotion, confidence, lessons learned, following your bliss. Pile number 2, good for you. Let's see what else. We have Queen of Swords. Yeah, you're definitely not putting up with it, okay? You're like, I am not putting up with it. I'm not putting up with, and I feel some of you are saying there's a big hole in, even with the whole Lilith story. Some of you may say, I feel like there's something missing in this story of Lilith. Like, we don't get to see her mature. We don't, you know, it's like, even the story of Lilith, I feel, is very incomplete. And of course, like the Bible, etc., doesn't really allow this maturation to happen. And I think some of you know that. You know that. And it's like you're getting to live that expression of Lilith, the mature Lilith, the one who takes it on, the one who, and you know, in the story, she is mature too, but she's just constantly, the way they portray her is incorrect, okay? And I feel like some of you guys deal with that energy too, thinking people only have half the story about me, and what they perceive half the time isn't even right, okay? And it takes a lot to have confidence, even when people are missing so much about who you are, or may not even know. We have 3 of Cups here. So you are going to find your tribe. If you feel like, yeah, half the story's been missing, and I've wanted to be with others who have the same vision and have the same clarity as me, and I'd like to have this opportunity to share this with others and feel a part of something, all right? As much as you have gained a lot of power from standing alone, pile number 2, and I see this is coming for you, all right? And, you know, Lilith needs her badass bitches with her. You know, think of how much better the Bible would be if they were like, yeah, Lilith and her badass bitches, right? I mean, 3 angels come to her. What about her? You know, what about her homies? Okay. So I feel like, you know, this is coming through. This miracle, it's been a challenge, but it's also been a healing. All right. And yeah, I feel this. I feel more positivity when it comes to interacting with others and getting a sense of synergy, right? Because it's hard to get a group synergy going sometimes, right? And I see that coming for you and the confidence around that. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. Here we have the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands showed up in pile number 1 as well, but the Queen of Wands is the Queen of Fire is with us today. And she even looks like Kali in this picture with her multiple arms and her reach, right? And I feel your guys' reach becoming more powerful, more emboldened, more confident with what you're doing and the energies that you're working with. And if there was anything that you felt like that was restricting your growth in the past, I feel you are gaining the wisdom now to just jet set, kind of zoom out of that. All right. And yeah, and I'm looking at her eyes now, and there's this sense of acceptance and confidence, but there's also more openness that I feel like is something in your Kundalini is opening this energy, all right, for you, this confidence in this energy, pile number 2, because there is certain spaces that need you to kind of hold this Lilith energy and hold this sacred fire, okay? Definitely with the red tea light, the sacred flyer. All right, maybe some of you, I said jet set, maybe some of you are thinking about going somewhere. All right, maybe you're thinking about taking a trip or going somewhere, or you'd like to go somewhere different. But yeah, you're definitely getting noticed, and you're handling it in a really smart and, you know, clear, very clear and aware type of way, I feel, okay? It's like if the Bible would have actually given Lilith a chance just to be who she is, right? Like just a chance to just be who she is and live, you know? And good for you, pile number 2. So that's why you're getting so much favor with Lilith, because she's like, yeah, through you, I feel this expression of living. Let's see what other messages what other messages does Lilith have for my pile number 2s as we close this reading, please, Lilith? We have the 3 of Wands. Okay, so an interesting image here of somebody kind of leaned back and on a computer. And I feel like I mentioned zooming in on something. So maybe some of you are on the computer, you're on Zoom a lot, and maybe some of you, because this 3 of Wands looks a little kind of sick of being on the computer. Maybe some of you have been looking for jobs and you're like, I got bills to pay. I've got things I need to do. And I see some fast money and some cash coming for you in the mail. And if you're like, well, all I've been doing is paying bills and sending money out, I think you have some cash coming in, all right? And that would be nice, right? I feel some of you guys are a little frustrated at work right now, or you're a little frustrated with the way people are viewing your ideas and your input. And that's, you know, that's Lilith energy, right? I love how her legs, what sexy legs, all right? Maybe some of you guys are a little frustrated, like people not hearing you out and people not really listening to you at work, or you have certain ideas, but they're not really listening to you, but maybe, you know, you need the money, so you kind of stay. Maybe some of you are looking for a job or looking for something new here. All right, let's go ahead and see what else. Let's see what else. What does Lilith have to share here? Yeah, Page of Pentacles. Okay, so I think Lilith is telling you to, and definitely with this energy of specialization with the Page of Pentacles, Lilith is saying, I recognize your frustration and the fact that you're up to your chin, or you're up to your neck, and that people have been very annoying and you've had to kind of you've had to deal with this, but you're a boss ass bitch. I also feel pile number 1, even your look or your face could, or pile number 2, your look or your face could be very intimidating, because I'm looking at her right now, but something dissatisfying when it comes to people not listening to you or not showing up in a certain way. And I feel like some of you guys are just admitting to yourself, like, yeah, I'm done with this. I am actually ready to look at something else I could do, or something else I could specialize in. I'm willing to reevaluate something again here, because I'm kind of sick of getting the shaft on my ideas. And here's the 9 of Pentacles. So this is good money. This is good money issues here. 6 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, people coming to you for once and being like, can I help you? Or let me do this for you. Or people being kind of subservient to you. Pile number 2, which is fine, you know. And I feel like this is you guys, 9 of Pentacles. You're like making up your mind about something and you're saying, I'm not going to continue to chase after that, or I'm not going to continue to try to push this, whether it's your ideas or a person. I'm not going to continue to chase this and put up with this because I got better things to do with my time. All right. And I want to feel more like grounded in what I'm doing anyway. And I don't really want to waste my time and energy on things anymore, on certain things, because my time and energy is valuable. Okay. And yeah, so I do feel Lilith is talking to you about a challenge right now. Maybe it's at work. Maybe you're going toe to toe with somebody and you're like, you don't want to go toe to toe with me, right? You know, here. But I see you guys stepping back and saying, you know, maybe I don't want to be all things. Maybe I don't want to be all things to everyone. Maybe I don't want to be that. Maybe I want to specialize in something. Maybe I don't want to put up with this kind of game of cat and mouse, or this, you know, I don't know why I'm getting show and tell or cat and mouse or whatever the fuck it is. But I think you're just kind of like, yeah, like I'm not into it anymore. And you're just saying, I got better things to do with my time. All right. And Lilith is like thumbs up. All right. Anything that you're doing where you can build your confidence and specialize in something is the direction that you want to go. Don't, you know, waste your beautiful windpipes trying to play in a sandbox with people who are just like super downgraded and not listening. You know what I'm saying? Pile number 2. Okay. So thank you so much, my lovelies in pile number 2. I absolutely enjoyed your Lilith reading, and good things for you guys. Money. I feel money for you guys. All right. Money and success. So thank you so much, pile number 2. And we'll see you again soon. Let's move on to pile number 3. Pile number 3. Let's do it. Okay. Let's do it. All right. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the purple tea light, and today's reading is called Expressing the Dark Feminine. What dark goddess acknowledges you now? Every pile got a specific goddess that I randomly shuffled out, and we're going to look how this dark feminine energy is operating in your life and what dark goddess is nodding her head at you and tipping her hat to you right now. Pile number 3. Let's go ahead and do it. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to my wonderful energy of my beautiful pile number 3s. I guess I have wonderful energy today, pile number 3. I mean, I guess I do. I'm so happy to do this reading. Like, this is an exciting reading for me. So hopefully your wonderful energy, my wonderful energy, spirit's wonderful energy, and of course the dark goddess. So thank you so much, pile number 3. Let's get into it. We have, ooh, nice. We have Circe, the goddess, the Greek goddess Circe. And I love her. I really, and I identified with her energy a lot for a long time. So no wonder I kind of creeped into the reading there. But Circe, okay? And some people pronounce her name Kirky. The Greek pronunciation of it, but I'm going to say Circe because that's what I'm used to, and that's what my English tongue wants to say. Okay, so Circe, the dark goddess of sorcery. Okay, and you know, I had to look up the definition of sorcery again, and it's using spirits to kind of do magic. It's wizardry in a way, but it's also kind of dark magic, and it is, you know, taking evil spirits and using that energy, the powerful energy, to make things happen or make changes happen or for protection. okay? So Circe was a dark goddess of sorcery, and she has to do with plant magic, herbalism, and animal magic. And I'm going to talk about the animal magic because it's very interesting with her. Circe developed immense powers in isolation. So Zeus actually sent her to an island by herself where she was just with plants and animals and no other people, because her power to change and transform things was so rapid and immense, and he probably was a little bit afraid of her, you know? And I talked about in pile number 1 about Zeus being afraid of something, but I also think Zeus just didn't really know what to do with her because her powers were so different and interesting, and she had them from a young age. And Circe comes from, you know, a strong line of magical practitioners as well. And yeah, so Zeus banished her, and in isolation, she learned so much. So maybe some of you guys have dealt with isolation, or even during the last 18 months, you know, there's been a lot more isolation that's happened. And maybe some of you have been practicing your powers and your magic or your intuition, or what, herbalism or plant magic, animal magic during this time, and your powers have really become strong, okay? Circe is the dark goddess of witchcraft. She's also the dark goddess of acceptance as well, because she went to this island and she was by herself, and she did accept it after some time, okay? And also loss. Circe talking about loss and living with the acceptance of that. Yeah, and also Circe talking about adapting in situations, even when it feels impossible, right? Like, I can't do that. And I think she was fairly young when she kind of got banished to that island. So imagine how scary that would be. Maybe some of you were on your own from a time when you were young, or you dealt with isolation, being lonely, or you dealt with, you know, just being on your own and having to kind of fend for yourself, all right? And the thing is with Circe is that she basically took everything around her, the animals, the plants, you know, everything, and she was this magnificent sorcerer, you know? And so I want to remind you of that, about how much Circe, how much power can develop in those moments. Some people will say that Circe was the daughter of Hecate. And even though I don't have Hecate as a goddess choice in this reading, I mean, Hecate, I feel very close to her energy as well, as a practitioner of magic and as a daughter of Hecate. And Circe, a lot of people say she was the daughter of Hecate. So, I mean, a very, very powerful lineage, all right? And you might not even know, like, it may go generations way back before, but there is some very powerful ancestor, I feel, maybe multiple, pile number 3, that really have secured this energy for you. And the name Circe means to secure with rings or to hoop around. And that's really talking about binding magic. And she was an expert in binding magic. Like I said, she dealt with potions and herbs. And with animal magic, she was able to transform her enemies into animals, which is such a unique ability, right? And there's a story of these men that tried to come to her island, and she saw that they were coming and she turned them all into pigs, okay? So, I mean, you don't mess with Circe, you really don't. And Zeus banished her to a deserted island. She was alone and pitted, and because she was alone on this island and people knew that some people knew she was there, she oftentimes would be pitted against the most terrifying and murderous gods. But what she was able to do was be very adaptable. It's like she became part of the land. She became, and because of that, it just increased her powers and her adaptability. So when you're talking about Circe, we're talking about summoning our strength and our ability to adapt in, you know, formidable circumstances. And we say Circe came from a family of formidable sorceresses. And her strange powers would oftentimes threaten others. And there were some books written about Circe. She's a very interesting figure in modern day books. And in some of the lines that were written about her, they had her saying, like Circe was saying, the name for what I was did not exist, right? I mean, very unusual powers. That's why I think Zeus banished her. And the name for what I was did not exist. And a god came along and gave her a loom. So she's also, Circe is associated with the loom, and she would often do magical spells with the loom, and the loom would keep her hands very busy. So there's this whole idea of keeping the hands must be busy and the mind sharp and free with Circe, okay? I mean, at some point, Circe's pain threatens to consume her, but she keeps her hands busy and her mind sharp and free, and that's what allows her to become this very powerful sorceress, all right? So we're gonna talk about what this means for you, pile number 3, and your adaptability and your strength and your ability to accept and adapt to whatever circumstances, all right, come your way. So let's look at this, pile number 3. We have Watchtower of the North, winter. Hail to the guardians of the Watchtower of the North, pile number 3. And, you know, this winter may hold a significant time for you. And winter can oftentimes be a time of loneliness or isolation or just a period of going within, you know. But there is something very peaceful about the winter as well here too, okay? So don't fear anything, I feel like is what Circe is saying to you. You thrive in some of the most impossible circumstances. You are able to thrive, pile number 3. We have discernment. Okay, so some of you guys, the reason why you may be feeling at a loss about something or having to accept something that maybe you didn't see before is because, and maybe it's made you feel a bit sad or a bit alone at times, or you know, I feel like your heart is keeping an eye out for you, pile number 3. And there may have been times when you were like, yeah, I actually got more information than I even knew. And sometimes the truth is hard, right? But there is this level of acceptance, right? The truth is better than nothing is how I feel. I mean, of course, it's the best actually, even though sometimes it can make us feel like only I see that, or that was a painful revelation. Okay, so let's see what else from your Isis card here. Initiation. Absolutely, Circe trying to initiate you further and deeper into what it is that you can do here. You are being initiated into the divine mysteries of light, love, and power. There are moments of profound challenge. The key is to find the light within the challenge, the opportunity for growth that can transform any challenge into an experience of healing. With compassion and cleverness, yes, Circe, very, very clever. You will not burn during your challenges. You shall thrive, okay? So initiation's always coming with the deep, you know, it feels like that dark night of the soul with winter. It feels like that kind of, but you're seeing very clearly here with discernment. We have rose and timeless. Very timeless you are. Pile number 3, no matter what age you are, no matter where you're at in your life, you're seeing that time is like really a function of the earth plane. And yeah, and you're seeing how I'm drawn to how this rose is not flowered in the background, but then in the front here, this rose has flowered. So I feel like this is talking about you. I mean, times when maybe you felt like you wanted to clam up, or you wanted to go into hiding, or you didn't really, because of things you observed that you weren't super happy to see, you know? And then so you kind of maybe clammed up that energy, or you pulled that within. But talking about how you have all the time in the world to sort of flower and bloom and grow, right? Into every season, turn, right? Sometimes we go through periods of withdrawal, right? Only to blossom even bigger in the springtime. We have borage and courage, the plant borage and courage. So, I mean, Circe, of course, she was dropped into this deserted island all by herself, and talking about, you know, moments of profound challenge require deep, deep, deep courage and belief in ourselves. Okay, pile number 3, we have Botswana, agate, and excellence. Absolutely. And you guys are maybe looking at some other practitioners or what other people are doing, and you're like, or maybe you had someone telling you you should try it or do it this way. I'm going to say your own internal guidance and your own teachings are at this time where you need to go. And anything you're learning right now, you do need to have a very discerning eye towards it, because, and Circe talking about excellence in sorcery. I mean, second to fucking none, pile number 3. So whatever it is that you do, if there's something you do and you're not happy with it because you're like, I want it to be, I gotta have it be excellent, right? But let's read about this. The fine lines in Botswana agate remind us that excellence often requires being meticulous, precise, and paying attention to detail. Botswana agate encourages you to set high standards and strive for excellence. Don't settle for mediocrity. It only takes a little extra push to make the ordinary extraordinary. I take pride in what I do. I will go the extra distance to reach my highest potential. I strive for excellence. Oh, I feel that in my bones. File number 3, chills, chills, chills. All right, courage to be excellent. Okay, courage to be excellent. And we have here Isis. Oh my God, how wonderful. Not only do you guys have Circe, but you also have Isis with you. That is such powerful magic. Magic manifesting. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming a reality. Stay focused. You are in a deep period of learning and initiation, and your powers of discernment and excellence and attention to detail are just growing even more powerful. Pile number 3. Oh my God, we have Mercury. Of course, Mercury is the god of magic, and Mercury can go in between both worlds. Mercury is neither masculine nor feminine. And we say he a lot when we talk about Mercury, but it isn't. Mercury is both wet and dry. And so there is masculine and feminine principles. And something about attention to detail. Sometimes when you're making something or you're teaching something or you're doing, even like doing a reading, right? You want it to be good. You want it to be researched. You want it to be detailed. You want it to be visually correct, right? All of these elements going into the magic of what makes something happen, right? You guys are being initiated by Isis right now, and your skills are growing to that of a Circe-like level, which is, talk about adapting, right? With Mercury, it's so adaptable. Mercury representing spirit and, the eternal, like, going from here and going from there, and you don't know what they're going to do next, right? You don't know. Somebody who's with Mercury, it's magician, right? Mercury rules the tarot card, the magician, right? So talking about you're a timeless magician, pile number 3. And in the past, I feel like maybe you were limiting yourself or you weren't allowing yourself to really grow as much as you could. And I feel like now you're really, the power on this is really getting turned up, all right? And you're a timeless magician. Remember that, pile number 3, your lineage, and all the traditions that you carry and that are being communicated to you, and this magic that is manifesting for you is so powerful, right? And whenever you're faced with this kind of dark night of the soul or isolation or kind of having to do things on your own, or maybe feeling a bit like I've just got to kind of do this myself, right? That demands excellence. It really does. We have sacral chakra. I love that. That's the divine feminine right there. That's the water energy, talking about how Mercury is wet and dry, talking about creativity, courage and creativity, courage and intimacy, courage and I feel like for you guys, knowing your own self intimately, that takes courage. And creatively too. I feel some of you guys, Sometimes you maybe need to be alone so that you can really look at something and take a 360-degree view of it, but also not pick yourself apart, I feel, at the same time, which is a tricky balance, right? When you're trying to be creative, if we pick ourselves apart, right? But I feel like, you know, attention to detail is so important to you, okay? With this Botswana agate, you have high standards for yourself and you are a very creative person. And, you know, as an old saying goes, you know, creativity, you know, if there's an absence of risk, there's no creativity, right? So courage, it takes courage to put something out there that we did or that we stand behind. Ooh, Scorpion. You know, it's so crazy is I've been seeing scorpions in my dreams a lot lately, and I feel like it's kind of a new totem coming on for me here. And that's very interesting. So Scorpion, and it's coming out under this excellence card. And, you know, scorpions, they carry their babies on their back, which is really interesting. But if you shine a light on a scorpion in the dark, it's going to glow fluorescent. All right. That's like, can you imagine Circe in the woods on that island, like taking the venom from scorpions and using it in some potions? And wow, you know, like I could definitely see her doing that. The caution message here is going to be not to nitpick yourself to death and not get too perfectionistic with yourself, because we want to keep those waters, those creativity waters flowing, right? We want to keep that. We also want to keep a sense of lightness and discovery with what you're doing as well. So I feel that's the caution. You know, we have good cheer with a kind heart and humor free. Make good cheer rule, so mote it be. Yeah, there's a lot of seriousness with the Watchtower of the North and winter. And the discernment card here looks very serious to me too, wanting a lot of excellence from yourself and expecting that in this deep initiation and this wonderful magic. There is something about, you know, good cheer as well here, you know, and I'm drawn to the sacral chakra and something about really taking joy in what you're doing, okay? And if you're feeling like that didn't go off the way I wanted it to, I tried to do that, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted, I feel like your spirit guide is here listening to you and is saying, you know, she's got her butterfly wings on here and your guide is next to you and putting her hand on your hand and saying, it's not that bad, dear, okay? If there's something you put out there and you didn't like it and it wasn't exactly what you wanted to do and you were trying to pull something off, you know, I feel like spirit is putting their hand on yours and is saying, it's not that bad, dear, okay? In a laughing, in a humorous way, okay? So good cheer. We need to keep that in mind here with all this excellence and intensity with the scorpion. We have the Four of Pentacles. So really trying to draw in that earth magic, okay? And this is Capricorn energy, Sun in Capricorn, with the Four of Pentacles, but really trying to make it happen in your reality. Like, let's take this and make it a reality. And there's always room for, you know, there's always, I think what you guys, your original idea that you have actually turns into something much bigger when you put it out there. Also, I want to tell you, you can't always control how others are going to perceive what you're doing. Some people are going to like it and turns toward it, and some people aren't going to like it and turn the other way. But that's not really up to you to control. All you have to do is take the seed idea that you're working with that's been planted in your head, in your crown chakra by your guides, and actually lightning bolt, make that a reality, okay? Make it a reality and spin it into existence, okay? Pile number 3, I see this energy of the spin. We have to spin something into existence and we have to go with the charge, right? With Mercury, the magician, it's the charge. When the moment hits, you do it. And you may feel like people are watching you or their eyes are on you, but you really have to spin. You really have to spin the energy, okay? Some people are gonna go the opposite direction. Some are gonna come closer to you. It's fine, all right? It's completely fine. You just have to work that into reality. Here's the 10 of Cups. Yeah. So if you're worried a lot about the execution with something that you're doing, and if it's going to come off like you intended it, or if this project or this particular thing that you're working on, try not to get too much in your head about that and just go with the original charge. And we have the 10 of Cups here. So I feel like there is definitely somebody who is standing in awe of you, all right? And this could be your partner, this could be somebody in your life, a friend or a partner, or somebody who, you know, stands by your side. And I feel like they're like, whoa, like somebody here is observing your evolution, and they're like, damn, you know? And I feel like people look at you with their eyes really wide, pile number 3, because it's like, whoa. And you really are enlightening others, okay? You really are. And some people are going to be attracted and some people aren't, and that's their business. I also feel like some of you, because you're creatives and because you go with this charge and this magician energy, sometimes your environment may be a little bit chaotic, or your house may be a little bit messy, or things are a little bit creatively wild, okay? And maybe you have children or pets and the house is ransacked or a mess, and you're like, you know, tell me about it, Natalie. Or that you're just like, yeah, I would, my place is, sometimes I feel I need to get things in order so that I can really work. Or maybe some of you are actually thriving in the chaos too, right? But I think understanding, like, you know, because for me the other day I actually cleared a bunch of cards off my table here where I read, because it's a lot bigger kind of than what you can see here. But you know, and it made me feel better actually doing the reading with like less clutter. So maybe less is more right now, and there is a need to be a little bit more minimalist with things. And I feel like some of you guys may be a little bit tired as well here too, and there's a need to kind of rest your eyes. You are putting a lot of energy out there. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of people that are directly tapped into what you're doing, pile number 3, or can be, or will be, or should be. And I think, you know, resting is important for you. And I feel like resting your eyes after a period of spinning the energy and putting it out there, you know, it's like, boom, 10 of Cups, so successful, so wonderful. It's a moment to say, look at everything I've accomplished. Look at how great and grand this is. And but then it's time to kind of clean up behind the scenes. I feel like pile number 3, okay? And we have the 7 of Chalices. So again, I think this is a message about trusting the loving energy that you're putting into what you're doing. And you know, one thing leads to another, which leads to another, to another, to another, all right? And so just taking the first step and not getting overwhelmed with all the details and everything that needs to happen, and it's got to be this grand from the very beginning. No, it doesn't. Just take the first step and keep walking along your path. And yeah, there's going to be on your path, there's going to be many directions for you to go in. There's going to be opportunities for you to stop and spend some time on some things as well, okay? But to me, the 7 of Cups is also like a blessing in a way, because it's like with Circe, you know, she was so good at many different mediums of magic, plant magic, herbalism, animal magic, witchcraft in general, sorcery in general, right? Adaptation. Like her skills are so many and vast. Mercury, the magician, initiation, okay? But sometimes the 7 of Cups, it can be a little overwhelming because you're like, whoa, you know, there's so many things I want to do, but there's only so many hours in the day, right? So take things one step at a time, I would say, so you don't overwhelm yourself with so many things happening, pile number 3, okay? But overall, it's really good because it's like, this is gonna lead to this, which leads to this, and your guides are not giving you everything at once because I think it would overwhelm you. So you're getting things one at a time in a way, and then you're getting to make decisions based on that. All right. And yeah, even though I think you can take getting a lot of things at once because that adaptation kind of energy that you have, but at the same time, it's like, well, what do you want to do? What do you desire to do? And let's go ahead and see, what message does Circe have for my beautiful pile number 3s? What message does Circe have for pile number 3, please? We have the Hierophant. Okay, intense study, intense learning. And you can see her here. She is with a book that looks bigger than her own head. And she's writing with a pen, you know, an act of writing something very magical in itself, you know, with a pen that's bigger than her own arm or her own hand, right? So, and you know, the Hierophant is the bridge between this world and the other world. The Hierophant is also the spiritual counselor. And I'm drawn to the fact of how many books she has around her. You know, how much information you've actually learned. Pile number 3, it's time for you to teach, you know, keep on studying, keep on learning, keep on devouring information, because with Mercury initiation, things are really waking up for you right now. But also understand, like, it's okay for you to, some people think, oh, I have to know, like, and certifications are great. They serve their purpose, and I 100% believe in them. But I also think with the Hierophant too, like, you have already amassed a lot of information already. So it's time to share what you know, all right? And some of you guys may have your head deep in a book right now, learning something that is studying or learning something that is very kind of crucial for you to get, right? Other books maybe not as important, or other things not as important, but this thing that you're working on, very important to you. Let's see what else. What else is, ooh, that flew out. 10 of Pentacles. All right. So some of you guys wondering, like, is all this information I'm collecting or all this that I'm doing, is this actually going to bring, you know, financial success? Is this actually like going to be worth something? Yeah, it is. And I also feel here too, I talked about Circe and her magical lineage, you know, and I see all the ancestors here lined up looking at what you did, like super proud of you, you know, like, whoa, and super grateful to you. I feel pile number 3, that you guys have ancestors here that are just very, very grateful. And it's like when they see you or they observe you, it's like they almost cry, because they're like, I can't believe how like what you've done and how far you've come. It's very encouraging, very encouraging. Some of you wondering, like, is this going to make me money? Is this going to be something that is long lasting? Is this something I can use for a long time? If you're learning some new skills right now, pile number 3. Yes, yes. With the 10 of Pentacles, definitely yes. Let's see what else. Let's see what else Circe has to say. We have 8 of Swords. It's so hard to see your own growth when you're, and King of Swords, Archangel Michael on the bottom of the deck coming through for you guys too. Huge protection amulet. All right, for you guys, Archangel Michael. Let's leave him upright. Also the throat chakra, very magnificent. Watching what you're saying, learning the power of your voice, pile number 3. Now, some of you guys are like, when you run into something, you're like, out of everything I've learned, I can't believe I didn't know that, you know? And so it causes you to go even deeper with what you're doing. And I feel like sometimes here with the 8 of Swords, you're like, I shouldn't speak on something until I am done with something. I shouldn't speak on something until I've completely learned it, right? I should just observe, or I should just hold things in, or kind of hold back a little bit. And Spirit is saying no, you know, like your throat chakra here is strong, okay? And there are words that need to come out of you, you know. We have the King of Swords and the 2 of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. So I see a very positive love energy in your life too. I also see you guys being very compatible with whatever it is that you're doing right now. You are very compatible with it. It belongs to you. You belong to it, right? And Yeah, going through an intense period of learning. I feel pile number 3, learning some new things here. And, you know, the feast here with the 10 of Pentacles, there's this huge feast and everyone's so happy to share in it, right? And maybe sometimes with the 8 of Swords, you can't really see all the projects that you're doing. Maybe there's a lot in motion, a lot of unfinished things that you want to get to, right? And yeah, and I think like it's okay. You're deep in it. You're deep in the initiation right now, pile number 3. And there's beautiful gifts that you have to share, 10 of Pentacles. And maybe sometimes you're not really seeing that about yourself, all right? But I'm here to tell you, like, see yourself through your ancestors' eyes, because they are like whoa, you know, they're like, whoa. So just know that. And for some of you that have been like swirling around in your mind a lot and you're like, I don't know, or it's been hard to focus, I think your focus is coming back, okay? So for those of you that have been like, I feel like I haven't been able to focus, I do feel a strong energy of focus for you, okay? So thank you so much, pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I hope that you found that very illuminating for you. Goddess Circe is with you. She's with us all. Thank you so much, pile number 3. And let's go ahead and move on to pile number 4. All right, pile number 4. We are going to do it big for you. I love it, pile number 4. Let's do it. Okay, pile number 4. Pile number 4, welcome to your reading. You chose the black tea light, and today's reading is called Expressing the Dark Feminine. What dark goddess acknowledges you now? Every pile got a different goddess. So we're going to look at your goddess and we are going to see what messages she has for you. And when the dark goddess is acknowledging you, she's tipping her hat at you and saying, you know, welcome initiate, welcome into my temple. You know, I acknowledge you, I respect you, I'm here standing right with you, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it for my beautiful pile number 4s. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to the energy of pile number 4 and their goddess that is supporting them today. So let's go ahead and see who your goddess is. Pile number 4. Ooh, you guys got the Morgan. The Morgan, okay? And the Morgan was a Irish goddess, and she was the goddess of death, and yeah, anyway, we're gonna get into her story. I have a lot of information on her for you. And I think it's so fitting that you guys got the black tea light because of her association with death and the unknown and what happens after we close our eyes and what goes on. And also she's always portrayed like with ravens and crows, and she's always wearing all black, you know. And the Morgan is also associated with Samhain or Halloween as well. So like very gothy, very dark, very beautiful, very terrifying as well. Pile number 4. When I think of the Morgan, I also think of like the Banshees, okay? And for those of you that don't know what the Banshees is, you can look them up, but their shrieks and things like that would warn people, I think, that death is coming, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the Morgan, very interesting and associated with crows and ravens, and maybe you do love that kind of energy too. I did read she's associated with the triple goddess as well. So maiden, mother, crone. And of course, because of that, I also feel she has an association with Hecate, for those of you that love the goddess Hecate as well. The Morgan is called the Phantom Queen because she is a shapeshifter. And she can shift other people into different things as well. She can shift herself into other things. And she like rolls in, you barely see her, and she rolls out and everything is completely changed. Okay, so that Phantom Queen, very interesting. The Morgan is also called the Keeper of the Fates, okay? And she does have to do with prophecy. So this is the one goddess that really has to do with like predictions and prophecies. And, you know, but if the Morgan gave you so basically a person can ask the Morgan like 3 questions, but she will ask you 3 questions back as well. And if you don't answer right, like, Godspeed your soul, right? If you lie, not answer right, but if you lie, Godspeed your soul. So there's no really lying to the Morgan. Like, she's going to see right through you. And her prophecy, like her gifts of divination and prophecy and keeper of the fates, like, wonderful that people could ask her questions, but it also came with a price, right? And so talking about that, you know, the Morgan doesn't just give her cup to anything. If she gives you her cup, it always comes with a little bit of price, right? So knowledge and foresight of the future comes with this kind of price. And some of you guys may have felt that the knowledge that you acquired or the things that you learned definitely came at a price for you. And you may find yourself to be sometimes of a chameleon. Empaths can be very chameleon-like and shapeshifter, very protean type of energy, all right? The Morgan could be very mysterious and hidden at times, and she could also shift into different animals, particularly birds, okay? So for those of you that have a deep connection with birds, you know, the Morgan is like the bird goddess, very, very into that bird energy. And it was so funny. I remember, like, you know, non sequitur pile number 4, but when I was on acid one time when I was in college, I remember looking at myself in the mirror and thinking I looked like a bird, like my face turned into a bird. So it's just very interesting with that bird queen kind of energy. And I want to read you just a little bit more about the Morgan, and then we're going to get into your cards, okay? So the Morgan was all-knowing, but her knowledge came at a price. She was strikingly beautiful, yet intimidating. Some people also say, you know, because she's associated with Maiden Mother Crone, all the phases of the goddess, that she also had like a hag kind of a look to her too at times. She's an Irish goddess of death and the guardian of the dead. She moves the soul between life and death, all right? She's a healer and a protector, but because people fear death a lot, she is associated with this kind of intimidation factor. And also, like I said, she's associated with Halloween as well, or Samhain. She's the bird goddess and an earth goddess. Her breasts nourish the living and regenerate the dead. She is associated with crows, ravens, owls, or vultures. Interesting, because I saw 2 vultures on the top of my building the other day. The Morgan is a shapeshifter and a triple source of power to regenerate the cycles like the moon. A lot of people say that the Morgan didn't really have a consort or someone that she was with, but some other people say, oh, it was the horn god, but you know, rumors vary, right? Was she with someone or not? Yeah, the Morgan, you cannot lie to her. Like I said, you can ask her 3 questions, but you get 3 back from her, and you definitely cannot lie to her. The Morgan is not death itself, but the keeper of death. And a lot of people call the Morgan like the Irish Kali. I've heard her refer to that as to the Irish goddess Kali. The Morgan also had 2 sisters as well, and she and her sisters can join into a horrible ring and dance and incite warriors to like disappear and incite warriors into battle and to bring victory, right? For those of you that are familiar with the Isle of Avalon and Morgan Le Fay, the Morgan is also associated with that. And the Morgan is also associated with a villainess who uses illusions to destroy, okay? So she's like a shapeshifter, mysterious, using illusions, right? And the Morgan would also appear as a crow and go and eat the skin off the warriors in the battlefield, okay? So that consuming driving force, right? With the beautiful Phantom Queen. So pile number 4, I hope you enjoyed that information. That's some interesting info, isn't it? So let's see, how is the Morgan relating to your reading, and how is she acknowledging you now? We have cauldron and containment, talking about your energy being very contained and being used for a purpose that, makes a difference, okay? And talking about this containment of energy and making a purpose for the future, I feel pile number 4. And yeah, so the Morgan, you know, talking about she can make people live, you know, she can say, okay, you're living, or okay, now your soul is moving on and I'm here to do that. And her process is kind of a containment in that, right? We have friction. Okay, talk about being in the boiling pot, right? Maybe some of you have not liked the containment that you've been feeling, and you felt like you're getting submerged in a boiling pot, pile number 4. Okay, and because the Morgan was a shapeshifter, she could shapeshift out of any situation, particularly into birds, and fly away. Right? So maybe some of you guys have been dealing with some friction and you're wondering, should I continue to do this, continue to be in this place, continue to use my energy this way? Because I do feel like your energy is contained in a way that's for the greater good, right? Just like the Morgan is for the greater good. Although when you see her coming, you're probably not super happy if you're a warrior on the battlefield, right? Although she can give victory to warriors as well too. And I think that's important to realize, pile number 4, that you can be victorious over what it is that you're going through. But I do see maybe some of you are not liking the container that you're in right now, whether that's your home environment, a relationship, your work. There is something that is causing friction and rubbing you the wrong way, for sure, pile number 4. Let's get Isis's message here. Isis is talking about the pyramid of light and psychic protection. Yeah, black is very good for that, for psychic protection. How are you using your gifts, right? Is it creating friction within you? As a being of light, darker energies may at times seek to interfere with your spiritual progress, right? That's when you shapeshift into a bird and fly away. There is nothing to fear and only more awareness of the power and protection of divine love to experience. The pyramid of light confirms that energies have been causing interference with your path, maybe containing you when you don't want to be contained in something anymore. And it is time now that the interference to cease completely through loving and divine power, okay? So it's time for this psychic protection. And the Morgan is very fierce and intimidating, right? So if some of you are needing to do some protection spells with the cauldron here and kind of contain the energy of some of these, maybe some of you are dealing with emotional vampires or just people who don't really, just are causing hardship in your life for whatever reason, right? Maybe some of you guys needing to kind of do a spell of protection so that you can kind of contain this energy and work with it, all right? We have clear quartz and heal, right? So again, there needs to be, if we're going to heal, right, we have to feel safe at first to do it, and we have to feel at peace, right? And sometimes the environment just is out of control as well. Talking about containment, maybe some things feel out of control and it's causing you friction, or people are kind of causing this friction on you, pile number 4, talking about this psychic protection. And within that bubble, it's like you can heal, you can see things in a new way. All right, the Phantom Queen, some of you see me, now you don't. I shapeshifted into a bird and I'm fucking out of here, okay? Pile number 4. We have the Waning Moon and Recover. Yeah, so something about containing your own energy as well, especially if you've had energetic spillover, or you've been dealing with vampires, or you've been dealing with just people leeching off you in a way. I do feel like it's time to kind of contain yourself in your own energy and recover from this, okay? So healing and recovering for sure, pile number 4. The Morgan here too, and maybe it feels very mysterious and hidden what you need to recover from. And sometimes we look for that reason. Why am I feeling friction? Why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling that? We feel the need to always diagnose the problem, and diagnosis is important in a lot of cases, but sometimes with psychic energies, it's just enough to know that you didn't like something, and we're not going to sit there and try to figure out what it was and how it happened. We're just going to say, yeah, no, and psychic protection, shape shift out of there, boom, no more, okay? And I'm being very drawn to my black obsidian pyramid here while I'm doing your reading. So I'm just gonna sit it right here and anchor this reading for you, because talking about black obsidian, black tourmaline, the black candle, very good for setting up this containment. Very Saturn. Saturn has that energy of like black bile, and also that grounding type of energy that you need. We have perseverance, right? The Morgan talking about warriors on the battlefield, bringing them into victory. So perseverance here during a very tough time of friction. Bronzite, so we have bronzite here. Bronzite is an excellent crystal for people who start projects but have a hard time finishing them. Rich with iron, all right? It promotes endurance, perseverance, and commitment to follow through. Bronzite can help you become more efficient and productive and less flighty and distracted. Yeah, you guys needing that grounding energy. And the Morgan is an earth goddess. She is, right? So I mentioned that. With its brown earth tone color, it provides a sense of groundedness and stability. When I start a project, I have the perseverance and endurance to see it through. Okay, so I feel like maybe you guys are saying, I'm trying to recover, I'm trying to contain the energy, I'm feeling some friction, Natalie. I feel like you're saying that. And Spirit, the Morgan is saying, you know, persevere, okay, persevere. And if you need to shape shift out of something so you can recover, that's okay too. We have the Shekinah. All right. Well, you guys, I mean, the Shekinah is like the Jewish female god, right? So not only do you guys have the Morgan, but you also have the Shekinah here with you. So very, very powerful. Talking about your sacred self, all right? Unleash your spirit, express your gifts, dance to the sacred rhythm of life. Ooh, I love that. I'm getting chills. I love that. Something about preserving your sacred self and recovering and healing your sacred self in a pyramid of protection. That's why I love this black obsidian pyramid for you guys, right? Being contained in this cauldron, this loving energy of developing yourself, your sacred self, okay? We have Sagittarius. All right, so my Sagittarians out there who are healing, who are embracing their sacred self, and who are unleashing, you know, your spirit, right? A lot of times with Sagittarius, we may have a hard time. Like there's a lot of things we get excited about, right? It's like, woo, fire, burn, like excited, let's shoot for the moon, let's try this, right? But I also feel like here, maybe start like you it said in your cards, starting a lot of projects, maybe not finishing them once you meet with some friction, right? And it's because the psychic energies are a lot. Okay, the psychic energies are a lot on you. Some of you guys may have Neptune, even though you're a fire sign, maybe you have Neptune on your ascendant, or Neptune is a big factor in your chart, which, you know, can really blur the boundaries of psychic energy. Okay, so there's something here about drawing on your powers of perseverance during times of great friction. Okay, and the sacred self needing to emerge in this pyramid of light and psychic protection. Oh, we have Capricorn. Okay, talking about containment. Yeah, and I was going to mention Saturn with the energies of containment, right? And recovering. So maybe some of you guys not liking being the contained, not liking, you know, the containment, or how people have tried to, you know, make it smaller, right? Because Sagittarius, the centaur, the healer, right, expands, right? But Capricorn contracts. And sometimes we have to go with that energy within ourselves. Sometimes we're in the mood to heal and put it all out there. And some other times we need a more contained energy. We need more, we need to recover, right? So it's this balance between healing and recovering. You would think it's the same thing, but I actually think healing in your case, pile number 4, is more of a dynamic process that takes energy, you know, But recovery for you is about being safe, okay? Feeling safe and feeling contained and safe with where you're at. We have bear and rest. Yeah, so some sacred rest for you guys, definitely needing that, especially with projects and finishing things and work and everything you've been dedicating your energy to. It can take a lot out, you know? It can take a lot out when you're trying to bubble that cauldron, right? So talking about, yeah, perseverance is great, but we have to balance that with rest. So, and I also feel like too, if you guys are dealing with people that psychically are, you know, that they're just of a lower vibration, and I don't mean that to be like, oh, you know, like snotty towards people, but you know what I'm saying, pile number 4. They're a lower vibration in some ways. I feel some of you are dealing with that, and those people are causing friction for you, but you're trying to contain it. And maybe rationalize it a bit here too with Capricorn, which I'm fine with rationalization, but not letting it go overboard, okay? And I feel like if you are dealing with some gnarly psychic energy, I want to put the bear right above this pyramid of light and psychic protection, because call on the bear. I feel like some of you guys feel small when you're around other people. So I want you to put your shoulders up, put your back out, your chest out, and I want you to take up more space, and I want you to imagine yourself in your auric body as a big bear, okay? And you may need to do this for a while just to kind of get used to the amount of power that you actually have, right? And the Morgan, very mysterious and hidden. Like sometimes you would see her, sometimes she would not. And I feel like sometimes that's with you guys in your body, right? But the Morgan was also terrifying and powerful and could bring warriors on the battlefield to their absolute knees. I mean, think of walking in a forest and you run straight into a bear that's standing up, you know, it's gonna be like shit, right? But I feel like this bear is very friendly to you. Some of you guys may have an animal totem, like the bear is with you now. I feel like some of you guys should read about the bear's defensive strategies, right? Because I don't think the bear really attacks, but if you do certain things, it will. And also just its defensive strategies. It may not have a lot because it is kind of at the top of the pyramid, right? But it'd be interesting to read about that for you guys. And I feel this bear is at the top of your pyramid. And it's telling you when you feel tired, you need to rest. But when you come out of it, you're ferocious, like Sagittarius energy, like fire, okay? We have trust. Yeah, I talked about this feeling of needing to feel contained and needing to feel safe so that you can bring your gifts out and let the magic flow, okay? We have trust. I am safe. I am secure. In love I trust. My faith endures. Okay, absolutely. Perseverance, talking about in love, in the energy of love, you are safe and you are secure, okay? And yeah, guys, so talking about trust, even in times of challenge or friction or pain, physical or mental or emotional pain, all right? And this Shekinah, she doesn't look like she's messing around, you know? She's very sweet, but look in her eyes. I see a tiger in her eyes. So the big cats is what you guys need right now. You need the bear, the tiger, the big cats, all right? Pile number 4. Ooh, the big cats. There it is. Just as I said that is strength, okay? There she is, walking with her 2 huge big cats in this deck. And, you know, and the Morgan, you know, said to walk with be associated with the raven and the crow and be very mysterious. I love the dark hair here and the stare and the strength and the commanding presence that, that's being taken here, okay? And yeah, really taking up space. And look at these lions. Like one of them is like, fuck, you know, fuck no. Looks like it's really growling, and the other one is warning. If you ever see dogs when they don't want you to come close or they're giving a warning, they'll let you know, right? And when you think of yourself walking through the world or walking around at the office or at work, or you're just in public, or you're just even at home, right? Imagine 2 really big cats next to you, like 2 lions, 2 panthers, a bear, right? Imagine these energies walking with you, side by side with you. All right, very fierce. All right, I love it. Pile number 4. We have 4 of Cups. So yeah, I do feel like sometimes you guys get very overwhelmed, all right? Because you have a very big heart. You wear your heart on your sleeve and in your hand. The heart is in the hand here, in the healing touch in the hand. I see Jesus here too, for those of you that resonate with Christ type energy as well. But the goddess is really forefront here. The heart is up front. I also see a witch's hat too. So talking about the Morgan being associated with witchcraft and Hecate. And also that, you know, Jesus energy, that sacrificial energy, that Pisces, Neptune energy. And I feel like sometimes the world just gets to be a lot for you, pile number 4, all right? And people dumping their shit on you, you know, people dumping their emotional shit on you. And it's not okay. I mean, I think people don't really know what they're doing. There's other people they could be talking to or seeking help from, but I feel like they walk directly to you because you're a compassionate person and people trust you. But that is not an excuse for people to just dump their black tar shit on you, okay? It's not, you know, that's not what it's for, okay? So there's something here about getting control of your emotional boundaries, I feel like, for sure, pile number 4. And you can tell when it gets like a little uncontained and the boundaries aren't there, when you start to feel that friction rubbing on you, exhausting you, and maybe giving up on the things, like the projects and the things that you really want to get done because somebody else has come and dumped on you. And maybe some of you too, dumping on yourself at times, you know, just saying like, I can't do this, or I'm not powerful enough, or I don't have it within me. And you know, with strength here, you have the courage, you have the fortitude, and you are very fierce, pile number 4. And I want you to remember that. But I feel in a very compassionate and loving way, but you still are extremely fierce. And that's why you got the Morgan, okay? Because she's probably like the darkest of the dark, you know? Like she is not one to be messed with here, all right? So let's see what else. We have 6 of Flames. Okay, so there definitely needs to be this feeling of you guys asserting yourself, all right? And people sometimes are needing to be subordinate to you. Now, they can add to your life, they can provide information, they can encourage you, but it's really you that takes up the mantle, okay? And other people can be supportive or not, but like I said, it's you that really is gonna take it up. And I feel like for some of you that are looking like, is my work gonna be noticed? Am I going to, you know, are people going to judge me? Or before I even get it out there, I feel like sometimes it's like, can I even get my work out there? Or are these people already looking at me like I'm gonna fail or something, you know? And that's fucked up. That's when you need that psychic protection, all right? Because you are powerful. You are a healer with Sagittarius and the Centaur. You are a healer. You are, and Sagittarius for me is also like Chiron, for those of you that really resonate with your Chiron energy, the wounded healer, right? But yeah, so a lot of perseverance to get things done, pile number 4. And there are things that need to come out like in the next 6 months, I feel like, with the 6 of Flames here, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 days. Like there are things that you're going to have an opportunity to step up and step out, and don't worry about what other people are thinking or what their mindset is like. It's time for you to kind of take up that mantle, all right? Because also the Morgan represented victory in battle over others, all right? So again, that energy of victory with the 6 of Flames and accomplishment, getting noticed, you know, prevailing over one's enemies. I also feel like that with the 6 of Wands, maybe even a little bit jealous. I was also getting that feeling overall in your readings sometimes, pile number 4, that the reason people bring you down or dump their shit on you, there may be some jealousy there too, okay? But, you know, I don't think you even really care about that much, but That's why I'm just giving it as a side note, but it may kind of be there. Imagine the bear rising up around you, and do some prayers of protection and work on that psychic protection, okay? Just know your energy is protected. Let's see. What message? I feel like very strong. I'm like strong in your reading. I'm like, let's do it, you know? The Morgan. What message does the Morgan have to tell my beautiful pile number 4s, please? The Morgan. We have 2 of Pentacles. So there is a lot that you're working on right now. And some of you guys may feel like, you know, this two of Pentacles to me with the big hat, it looks like kind of feeling stupid about something, or maybe, and it's also that energy of expansion and contraction with Jupiter and Capricorn, Sagittarius and Capricorn. This is something you've been riding this wave for a long time. I feel pile number 4. This is one of your big soul lessons, is this expansion and contraction, containment, feeling safe, you know, juggling the energies, doing multiple things at once, multitasking, right? But it also can be where multitasking gets away from you, right? It can get away from you. So, you know, definitely settling in, trying to maybe settle in on one thing. Let's see what else here for my pile number 4s. What else here? What else does the Morgan say? Also, the Morgan is saying you don't look stupid, all right? You don't. If somebody gave you that impression that what you were doing was stupid or silly, the Morgan is saying absolutely not. It's not, okay? It's very valuable. Let's see what else. We have the Page of Swords, all right? So sometimes when you are working on things, you're met with distractions. Again, the Page of Swords, very distracting. Somebody interrupts you. Somebody is like, oh, I had this thought, I wanted to run it by you, or I have this idea, or just constant interruptions. Or maybe you're kind of interrupting yourself and being like, should I do this? Is this right? Does this look right? You know, it's a lot of interruptions. So the Morgan is saying, you know, your mind works very quickly. It's almost like ADD in a way, pile number 4. Your mind is working very quickly, and you have so many ideas, and you're like slaying the dragons with I always like to think of the Princess of Swords, right? Because if you think of her on the Thoth card, she's like Princess of Swords, right? Playing in the astral plane, doing cartwheels on the astral plane, right? Lots of ideas rushing at you full force, all right? But it's a lot, you know, it's a lot. You have to balance the energies, don't you, with the 2 of Pentacles. All right. And people being a little bit demanding, or wondering what you're doing, or when you're going to get done with something. Fuck it, right? Pile number 4. You'll be done when you say you're done. Let's see what else here. We have the 4 of Pentacles. Yeah. Again, this is more Capricorn energy, and 4 of Swords is on the bottom of the deck, right? Talking about that divine rest, you know, collapsing into our beds at the end of the day, that containment and safety that we feel when we're there in our beds and we're safe and we're warm. And that's always a good time. You could think of the bear energy then too. They're with you, guarding you, holding you. You can say like, yeah, you know, and maybe some of you guys do have a bear in your life, like, you know, a partner or somebody that when they're there, you feel like a lot safer, you feel better, right? But even if you don't have that, you can still imagine that with you and give thanks. You know, at the end of the day, you can rest, you can let go. There's a lot of perseverance with this 4 of Pentacles. There's a lot of needing to sustain, I feel like. So the Morgan has a message about perseverance for you today, and sustaining the things that you really want, especially when it comes to your ideas about business or work. There's an energy of, I'm getting a ton of ideas, but I also need to just keep persisting, okay? And not trying to do too much, and not having so many interruptions. I feel like you can get more done if you just say, you know, the 4 of Pentacles to me is boundaries and is psychic protection. And he's got the pentacle over his chest and on his head. And he's like, I'm here, and you can't get to me right now. You know, you can't. And that's a good thing when you need psychic protection, right? Like all these people's thoughts and ideas psychically coming at you, Page of Swords, right? But here you are holding this pentacle and saying, I'm planted here, I'm grounded here. And, you know, this pentacle is like a mirror that's reflecting back to other people, okay? So there is this energy of needing protection, especially you know, in your like stomach, your heart space, your throat, needing kind of like the middle of the body, I feel is where to call that protection energy in, okay? And that's not going to stifle you. I feel like some of you guys are like, well, I don't want to be stifled. I want to, you know, I want to come up with my ideas. I want to, you know, I like it sometimes when I can multitask, right? Okay, that's cool, pile number 4, as long as it doesn't wear you out and cause you not to finish things, because trust that you are bringing something very valuable into the world, which is what I told you at the very beginning of your reading, okay? So thank you so much, my lovely pile number 4s that chose the Morgan. What an awesome reading. I'm so happy with your reading and all the readings in general. So leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe. I'd love to see you on this channel even more if this is your first time here. Thank you so much, everybody, and many blessings upon your path. Take care.